arrested. Fresh trouble for J&K Chief Minister Omar Abdullah as BJP sends a 100 crore defamation notice over Omar's poaching claim remark. West Bengal Chief Minister Suvendu Adhikari backs curbs on entry of Kolkata's Bankara Mosque within airport premises, cites security reasons. Mortal remains of 15 Indian tourists who lost their lives in the Vietnam boat tragedy to be repatriated back from Ho Chi Minh City. US releases fresh footage of Iranian strikes. US CENTCOM says it stuck Iranian military air defense systems and coastal radar systems. Iran launches retaliatory air strikes on Bahrain, fires at least 6 short-range ballistic missiles from southern province of Bushehr province. Global oil prices surged by 4% after Iran's retaliatory strike on US bases on Bahrain. "27 dead and 22 seriously injured in Bangkok pub fire tragedy. Fire officials say obstructed emergency exits hindered evacuation. For more than 2 years, Manipur has been trapped in a cycle of violence, fear and uncertainty. But today the crisis has perhaps reached innocent children. Several school hostels have reportedly been forced to shut after running out of essential food supplies. Boarding institutions have had no option but to send students home because their kitchens can no longer function. Along with these hostels, several gas agencies and petrol pumps in the affected areas have also been suspended. Their operations don't function anymore. They are not viable. The immediate reasoning is ongoing economic blockade called by the United Naga Council. The blockade was launched following the killing of 6 Naga hostages. The UNC says the blockade is intended to press the government to deliver justice. Despite talks between the Manipur government and the Naga Council, no breakthrough has been achieved and the blockade continues. To understand the scale of the disruption, it is important to understand Manipur's supply network. The state depends almost entirely on road transport for food, grains, cooking gas, medicines, fuels and other essential commodities. In Kangpokpi district, almost all essential supplies are transported from Saikul side through Imphal. In fact, nearly 70 to 80% of essential goods reaching Kangpokpi via Dimapur road corridor are routed through Saikul Ukhrul road. Any disruption along this route has an immediate impact on the availability of food, fuel and other daily necessities. With freight movements severely disrupted, trucks carrying essential commodities are taking weeks instead of days to reach their destinations. Transport costs have surged, supplies have become erratic and prices of basic commodities continue to rise. Traders now warn that shortages could worsen if the blockade continues. Remember, Manipur is a landlocked state that depends almost entirely on road transport for supply of food, grains, cooking gas, machines, medicines, fuels and other essential commodities. With highways disrupted and freight movements slowing dramatically, trucks carrying essential goods are taking weeks instead of days to reach the state. Transport costs have surged, supplies have become erratic and prices of basic commodities continue to rise. Traders are now warning that shortages would worsen if the situation continues. The result is now visible in the most painful way. Though there are voices who contest it and call it a cookie propaganda, let's find out about the truth first. On this conversation, I am joined by Brijesh Pandey, input editor News 9. I am joined by Hijang Misao, social activist. Professor Mao, Xavier P. Mao, political commentator. I am also joined by Lamjatang Haukip, social activist. And former ADG BSF, Mr. P.K. Mishra. Jai Hind. Let me straight away go to Hijang Misao. Hijang, your opening comments on students getting affected by this particular blockade.
Thanks, Kartikeya, once again for this show. And I am quite grateful for creating this platform where we can also, put up the suffering of the people from the ground. It's been more than 2 months that the lifeline of Manipur, especially National Highway 2, blocked by the Naga group under United Naga Council. As a result of which, there are also many uh, suffering gone through by the people, especially the civilians. I would particularly say the civilians and the students. Blocking the lifeline of the community, such as cutting off access to food, medicine, water, or essential supplies routes is widely recognized as violation of human right because it undermines the fundamental rights to life, health, food, and also education. And now I want to speak from two angles. One is human right violation. Why I call it this is a complete human right violation because right to life and survival, international law, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 3 protects right to life. And blocking lifeline directly endangers survival by depriving people from essential commodities. And the second, right to food, water, and health. Now, the International Convention, the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights guarantee adequate supply of foods to people, like food, clean water, healthcare. And obstructing these supply lines violates this right. And the third one is collective punishment. I would say in Manipur, this is a complete collective punishment because under humanitarian laws, deliberately depriving civilians of essential commodity is considered as collective punishment, which is prohibited. And from the legal and ethical dimension, I would say uh, the international humanitarian law, that's the Geneva Convention prohibit starvation of civilian as a method of warfare. Now, what is very disappointing, very unfortunate in Manipur is I think this kind of action is taken up as a kind of warfare against particular community, which the international humanitarian laws prohibit. And the second one is human rights law says that states are obligated to respect, protect, and fulfill rights. And if state fails to open the lifeline of the people, then I think the state completely fails to do its duty. And the third one, I would say, ethical responsibility
Okay.
beyond laws. I mean, laws are there to protect one another from harms. Now, let's
Ejang,
look from ethical
Ejang,
perspective.
Ejang, one by one. Let me just take opening comments from everyone. Lamjatang Aukip, is this a
Yeah, good
fact?
afternoon, Kartike.
Is this a
Yeah.
fact?
Am I audible, Kartike?
Yes, you are audible. Is this a fact?
Thanks. Yeah. First of all, I extend my sympathy to all the victims of this post 13 May Thado pastors ambush. Since then, about more than 20% lives, precious life, innocent civilians, pastors have been taken away. And second thing, consequent upon the killing of the Thado pastors, 6 Nagas were abducted and then later on massacred in Leilon, Waipei. And consequently, the UNC, United Naga Council, have imposed a blockade that affects everybody in Manipur. So you see, when the United Naga Council took up a blockade, one thing was very clear. The worst affected area will be Kangpopi, and then comes Tengnopal. Kangpopi, which also includes some parts of Saikul. So knowing, keeping all these things in anticipation, the king of Kangpopi, the king of cookies, so-called, that Sioux militants, KNFP, and their, MLA, Nemcha Kipgen, took the cabinet but that cookie quota of deputy chief minister, anticipating that once cookie Naga confrontation escalates, and then it will be difficult for them to, free from the tension, because the cookies of Churachandpur have zero interest or concern about the cookies of Kangpopi. So knowing it very clearly, one thing is very clear, that Kartike, Manipur is a multi-ethnic society where even though we try to separate each other, that's not possible anymore. We can't live without other communities. So the cookies of Kampopi are, in some pockets of Cycle, some pockets of Lemakong, and some pockets where they are totally confined. That is a major problem at the moment. But they have the government, deputy chief minister, the cookie quota of deputy chief minister. What is she doing? Essential items, commodities, reaching to the public. That's the fundamental rights of each and every citizen, irrespective of cookie or Thado or, Naga or Meitei. So we can find it very clearly like Kartike, the Kampupi deputy chief minister, Nemcha Kibyan has to, protect her own people. Of course, he's not, even though she took the cookie quota of deputy chief minister, she is representing the entire state. But she has to enforce law and order properly and ensure that all essential items, commodities reach to all parts of Kampupi. That also she can ensure. So politically speaking, of course, it is the politician government who runs who prevails at the end of the day. But you see, is it really worth? When Nemcha Kipgen took the deputy chief minister for the cookies were very much angry against her, but she has to deliver for the cookies at this point in time, whether that is the reason why the cookies are saying this. You see, and one last point here, which I would like to add, we keep on blanketing cookie. The chief minister, Yumnam Khemchan, traveled to Zomi area despite hue and cry from the cookies in Chochampur. You see, even in Chochampur now it's very clear, the sectorization, the compartmentalization, the Zomis, the Mar, MLS traveling to Imphal freely. That one thing is very clear, that everybody, all non-Naga tribals in Manipur are not cookie anymore. So at this point in time, it's a key internal problem. The cookies of Kampupi went to Chief Minister Yumnam Khemchan and visiting Imphal, saying that you need to rescue us, we need a kind of reconciliation. But at that point in time, the same cookie in P group of Chochampur are totally against the cookies of Kampupi's wanting reconciliation and peace. So that much I can put up at this point in time. Kartike, this cookie specific problem is creating entire mess to all the communities in Manipur.
Okay. Professor Mao?
Well, under normal circumstances, whatever the preceding speakers have said will follow. But now it is not under normal condition. It is a very tense condition, a sort of war. Therefore, all normal laws and norms are actually suspended. But at the same time, as per the Geneva Convention, the victims of maybe hostages or even medicine and other absolute essential commodities, of course, should be given. And what I have learned is the Assam Rifle and the CRPF and other security forces are also delivering some of the essential commodities. No doubt there is serious dearth of essential commodities, but they have been also supplied. And especially in Kampopi National Highway, I was told that more or less the normal activities are going on. Schools like in Daily Village St. Francis de Sales School, both the Nagas and Cookies are also attending the school. And then, of course, up to a particular point of time, the Cookies were coming and buying from even Daily Village or a nearby below Kampopi area from Naga shops. But I think now that has been also stopped, I'm told. So the situation, of course, has gone a little from bad to worse. But it is not that dire, I would say, as per whatever I have heard. Therefore, even in times of war or in times of serious conflict, of course, certain humanitarian laws should be maintained. That would be my point. But at the same time, I think whatever the United Naga Council is demanding, I think some of the demands can be met, if not all. For example, those who have abducted the Nagas, since they are neighbors with the Kuki, they know each other very well. Who have abducted them? And so, what is the difficulty in arresting those accused people? Then I think that will satisfy the relatives of the slain whose bodies were dismembered, And then even those three Tadao pastors who were killed, the NSCN had actually only denied. And then Jelarong United Front had also denied. And then, as per Lamjatang Haukip's statement, in fact, it falls under the Kuki-dominated area between the two Kuki villages of Kozim and Kotling. Therefore, even who had killed those three pastors is actually very, very doubtful. And the Naga side, they have categorically denied. Therefore, on that ground, on assumption or presumption, just taking revenge, you see, and killing them instantly. And that too, in a very barbaric and savagery manner, I think that has made the people very, very outrageous and very, very angry, I would say.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, do you think that these blockades or number of blockades that are existing in Manipur are very peculiar to the state or very general in Northeast? They become instrument of coercion against the state.
Karthike, I have seen these blockades since last about 20 years. This is very normal. Not only in Manipur, but in Northeast also in Mizoram it used to happen. I have seen personally when I was there about 5 years or more in Manipur, it used to happen every month. Because Manipur, particularly the Imphal and Churachandpur and Bishnupur and all, the lifeline is from Dimapur and NS39. So blocking that one, of course, the Jijibam road is already blocked. I know which group is blocking it. So they must agree that even if Dimapur road is blocked, at least open the Jijibam road. Get some things from Jijibam road from Silchar side. That is also not happening. And I'm telling you, United Naga Council was supposed to do it. It was very well known. After the death of the barbaric killing of these 6 Nagas, it was very well known that United Naga Council will definitely raise their voice, and they have asked for various demands like public shutdown, stringent public shutdown. They have already done it. That is in Thankanpai village, totally it has been blocked. In Kankopi and Saikul area, that has been blocked. And the worst part of it, you see, even the medicines and water and food materials and petrol and all, that's also not going. Things are very, very difficult in those areas. Their demand is about legal and political demands. United Naga Councils, they have asked that they want against Kukijo group action should be taken by the government, and particularly KNFP, they should be declared as a terrorist organization, and that is some of the demands are there from United Naga Council, but that doesn't mean that we have to block the national highway. That is no. You see, particularly, I am telling you, where is Tanpankai village? It is in Saikul area, and the supply line is through Saikul and Motmung. They have totally blocked it. It's 40 kilometers north of Imphal. But I tell you, even if Assam Rifle and CRPF, they are giving certain goods and particularly fuel and medicines and all they are supplying. But why can't they open national highway? What is the problem? That was opened also earlier. If the government wants it to be opened, like Honorable Chief Minister, he is the first now to, after Mr. NB Singh, he visited Churachandpur. I salute him. He has gone to Churachandpur. But why he cannot open the Dimapur line? It's very easy. With only 2 battalions, you have got sufficient forces with you. You see, it is against humanity. You cannot block the national highway because it goes against all Manipuris, not Kukis, not Pongals, not Maitis. It is against all Manipuris. It has to remain open, even if the 6 Nagas were killed. And of course, you see, Karthike, what has happened after this? We are not discussing about Kanto Saval burning 6 houses so close to Limakong. They were burnt. And of course, 2 persons were arrested. That's a different issue. But it's so close to Limakong. And in that area, people are having no hope, no faith on army. I have read certain articles also in Manipur which has come up. So things are very bad in Manipur, but I expect what is happening at Kamjong, what has happened at Ukrul, what has happened at
You know what
Grobi,
is the
what has
most
happened at
important? What is the most
those areas.
important
We
part?
have to be very strict in our action and take bold actions now because danda is required. Without
You
that,
know,
you cannot do it.
25,
Let us open this national highway.
25
It's
minutes
wrong.
have happened. 25 minutes have happened, Brijesh. We haven't discussed and used the word students. My show was on students, hostels.
Yeah.
And you know, we have discussed
Of course,
various
that's all
granularity,
close. That's all close.
politics in granular nature, but we have not addressed the issue. The entire purpose of the show was Vidyalay. I'll come to you, Misa. I'll come to you. I'll come to you. But we have not discussed students.
Well, I think, they are the byproducts of a conflict which is going on, and it looks like, that the government is completely inept, or I think, even the civil society or vested interest in certain civil societies is to make this conflict stay afloat rather than see an end to it. The fact of the matter is that it is extremely unfortunate that students have to vacate their hostels because food cannot reach there. But I think, in every single conversation, from people who are there on the ground, for people who have been working on the ground, somebody like Mr. Mishra ji who was stationed there, the fact of the matter is, I think if you ask me, it is the currency of the government which is going down every single day. And every crisis by crisis, it is going down. And it is extremely unfortunate. We thought N. Biren Singh will go and the new dispensation will come, and you had this, a Kuki and a Maite as a deputy chief minister, and everybody thought things will improve. It has not improved. It's refusing to improve. And honestly speaking, even the groups are also aware that the government cannot go beyond a point. And that is the reason why they have an absolutely no fear to hold the state to ransom by blocking these national highways. And by blocking these national highways, do you think that any particular ethnicity is suffering? The entire, every Manipuri is suffering. But the fact of the matter is that, in a larger scheme of things, it is extremely unfortunate.
The future is suffering.
The future is suffering. The students are suffering. The kids are not able to study. But, unfortunately, in the larger schemes of things, in fact, I would say that, that the most important thing, which is education to your children, is something which, nobody is taking it seriously. The hostels have been closed, even the normal supply you're not able to send, and I honestly don't understand what are those forces there for. If you have to play this safe, then I honestly don't see. I mean, it's one group today, it's another group tomorrow. And the fact of the matter is that I also agree with what Mr. Mao was saying, that that the government also has to take action in this barbaric killing of 6 Nagas. Mere assurances will only take you this far. Either you show a strong fist by saying that we will take this but not beyond that. You cannot hold the state to ransom. Unfortunately, all of these groups are able to, and they are, they are, unfortunately, but they are able to hold the state ransom, and the state is not doing at all, which is very, very surprising for me.
I'll come to you, Jang. I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Mr. Mao, do you agree with what Brijesh just said? That the state has been held to ransom?
By and large, I think what Brijesh has said is correct. All communities in Manipur are suffering. It is only a matter of a degree that some people are suffering more, some people are suffering less. True. So I think he is right. But I think the government should take, of course, a strong action, tactfully and very judiciously, as it is a lot of civilian people have already had confrontation with the security forces. So many people have sustained injuries. Therefore, they have to make very sure that injuries and casualties are minimized. But at the same time, what is absolutely required, of course, that the government has to do, both sides, to do justice to the relatives of the slain, barbarically slain people, and also those who are really suffering immensely. For them also, the government has to address both sides. That is a short-term solution. But for the longer, mid-term solution, of course, each community in Manipur, like Zomi or Ramar and the Kuki, and also even the Thadao, all have to create certain new awareness. And their own militant group has to be also enlightened. If they have imaginary kind of map to capture others' land, I think that has to be made them aware that what is dutifully, rightfully belong to other, that kind of awareness, new awareness should be also created. Otherwise, like Mahabharata or like the Ramayana, I think if the Kauravas were so determined not to give and to capture as much as possible, if that kind of mindset is there, then I don't think there will be long-term peace in Manipur. Rather, it will be a kind of trial of strength and then settled by the strength of the respective parties. So that kind of a state may even come. But before we come to that kind of a state, certainly from a greater, more humane, more alleviating for everyone, such steps certainly has to be taken as far as possible, but very carefully, tactfully, and judiciously, so that suffering of the innocent people from all communities should not increase.
Okay,
So that will be my
okay, Mr.
suggestion.
Mishra, you are the only person who said that these blockades can be lifted. How can these blockades be lifted?
Yes, Mr. Karthikeyan, the blockades were lifted by me personally also. That's what I'm speaking. I'm very frank and I'm very sure if the government wants, this blockade can be lifted and easily be lifted. Let the order be very clear. The order was earlier very clear also. That is, of course, time of Ibobi Singh, I'm telling you. But then, I'm telling you, Mr. Karthikeyan, there is ethics of financing armed groups. That is also happening in those areas. Not only in Kankopi, it is also being done at Chandel and Kamjong area. We have to be very cautious. Yes, Karthikeyan, this ban, particularly this public shutdown and the shutdown of this national highway, it can be lifted. It's so easy from Dimapur to that of Imphal, and also up to More and up to your Jiribam. It can easily be done with 4 or 5 battalions of forces. And if the deployment can be proper on the hillside and also the roadside with moving patrolling, it can only be done. It depends upon the will. And if government takes a stand and gives the commander, a proper commander, okay, I want NS-39 to be clear. Takes only 24 hours to make it clear. With so many forces we have in Imphal. And I'm very sure the security forces can do it, whether it's Manipur Rifle, whether it's CRPF, BSF, or Army or Assam Rifle. They must do it. Government must come forward. Enough is enough now. Whether it is Kaithal Manbi, whether it is Kankopi, whether it is Saikul, whether it is Thankanpai, can we allow our students to, because the schools are shut down, the educational institutions are shut down, hostels are shut down. Can't government see it? Why can't we keep it open? Government can do it, and I'm very sure it can be done with Dimapur axis can be done with only 2 or 3 battalions, whether at Sanapati and Kankopi and Kaithal Manbi. You just put it. It's very easy to curb it, and we can open it. And I hope government can listen to me and they can do it. Yes.
Okay, it's time for a short break, but we'll come back and we'll talk about the students, because that's where I want to take my conversation. How many students are in Manipur? How many years have been affected? Where have they gone? How will they do their studies? Does it mean that the entire cycle of students is getting affected in remote areas in Manipur? Have certain alternative arrangements being made for them? After a short break. It's confirmed. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been eliminated. But it was just not about Khamenei. It was also about the entire regime which the Americans wanted to take out.
Are the Iranians going to carry out their pledges, and are they going to continue with their attack?
Though Trump had said that the waves of attack would continue, but a new signal has come that there might be a small pause.
IRGC is likely to adopt lesser radical and more pragmatic approach to basically buy time so that the regime can survive.
There is much more than what is visible or to the naked eye.
Khamenei was killed because